Can everybody hear me okay? All right, excellent, excellent. All right, as Troy said, I'm Brian Amaro, Senior Infrastructure Analytics Architect with the Kellogg Company. Does anybody here not know who Kellogg is? You can raise your hand, it's okay, you can be embarrassed. We are the #1 producer of all cereals globally. We're the #1 producer of all snacks, cookies, crackers globally as well. Our products are consumed by families in more than 180 countries with annual revenues of more than $14 billion. Our brands, of course, include Eggos, Cheez-Its, Frosted Flakes, Kashi products. I'm not sure if a lot of you know this, but we also manufacture Pringles. We manufacture Bear Naked, as well as Morning Foods as well. The first temporary global financial crisis unfolded in the autumn of 1987 on a day known as Black Monday. Not to be confused with Black Friday, by the way, of all those crazy people running and shopping. But this was a chain reaction of market distress that sent global stock exchanges plummeting in a matter of hours. In the United States alone, the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 22.6% in a single trading session, a loss that remains the largest one-day stock market decline in history as far as market percentage is concerned. It also was the first day I was a commodities broker at the Chicago Board of Trade. Yeah, that's what I said too. How worse can it get, right? Was that a sign? It was a day that I really, truly never forget. In fact, to make things even worse, my manager threw down a phone book and said to me, by the end of the day, I need you to find someone to give us $100,000 to invest. I looked at him and I shook my head. I go, am I fired? I mean, seriously, it was truly amazing. But all of this really, in a way, is what brought me here to you today. You see, Black Monday events served to underscore the concept of globalization, which was still quite new at the time by demonstrating the unprecedented extent to which financial markets worldwide had become intertwined and technologically interconnected. I think someone earlier said that. In November 2013, Kellogg executives determined that the company needed to become more efficient and initiated a 3-year plan to do so. That plan required a monitoring solution that delivered a highly differentiated set of results and worked at scale to match Kellogg's global business requirements. At Kellogg, our beloved brands have the privilege of being invited into the homes of families worldwide each and every single day. We market more than 1,600 foods in more than 180 different countries, including Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, just to name a few. As we are recognized around the world for our brand building leadership and strength, it is all of our responsibilities at Kellogg's to ensure our brands and the systems that support our brands meet or exceed customers and consumers' expectations. So today, yes, I'll be talking about 8 ways your enterprise can reduce your MTTR and some examples of how Kellogg addressed these issues in order to hopefully help you, give you a roadmap to some success. Architectures are getting increasingly complex, distributed, and granular, and of course mobile. Operations is shifting its focus from the hardware to service availability. After all, truly, services are how you drive value from your investments, and in IT, the business really wants to see a valued return. Our customers could be a manufacturing automation system, a sales rep accessing an application on our tablet, someone trying to access our Kellogg's Rewards site to pull down a coupon. It is vitally important to be able to integrate efficient monitoring platforms into everyday infrastructure to not only inform the consumer and provide seamless integrations for the consumer into our environment, but also to provide a functional resource of infrastructure analytics that makes sense to your engineers and your management. Kellogg operates primarily through 4 regions. We have North Africa, Latin America, Europe, and Asia Pacific. We just basically opened up some new manufacturing in Africa, so within the next 5 to 10 years, you'll see us actually expand through all 6 continents. And I'm sure sooner or later we'll be in Antarctica. Hopefully I'm not stationed there doing this presentation. They may be pissed at me, I don't know. But each one of those locations is connected to each one of those employees who are connected to individual business units and ultimately connected to the world. Kellogg as a business has become intertwined with technology on a global basis. We found that like most of you, had a growing need to integrate our technology stack and needed to make the decisions to innovate or get left in the dark. We were faced with the challenge of an old, outdated monitoring platform that was very difficult to maintain, expensive, had no ability to effectively monitor the cloud or virtual platforms, triggered over 3,500 events per week, many of which were false positives, or what I like to call the cry wolf syndrome. This led to zero cooperation by teams and an overall dismal outlook towards monitoring. In fact, no one liked monitoring. When I tried to ask about a device, everybody said, don't bother me. No one wanted their devices monitored whatsoever. So I was faced with a challenge that seemed almost impossible to complete. Find a new platform that everyone will like, be able to deploy a global solution that includes cloud monitoring, provide a customizable platform to measure specific KPIs, and save Kellogg money in the process. All this, by the way, with a team of 2 people. The first requirement was operational visibility, situational awareness. And there's something I need to inform everybody. You can't manage anything unless you monitor it. Who would get into an airplane right now if it didn't have a pilot? Who would get into an airplane right now if that pilot didn't know if his plane was fueled? Not one soul in this room, I hope. Situational awareness means everything in your environment. That means information about every layer, location, element in our global infrastructure. We decommissioned our legacy monitoring solution, which only monitored 1,100 devices globally for 8 years prior to November 2013. We deployed ScienceLogic EM7 to manage availability and efficiency. With comprehensive instrumentation and the ability to collect from almost anything at scale, ScienceLogic provided us the intelligence to master those complex architectures, including hybrid IT. With our new solution, we were able to auto-discover and gain visibility to over 18,000 devices in 12 months with those same 2 people. We had to look at the integration of IT ops service management systems, analytics, monitoring, our hyper-converged platform, the cloud, multiple data centers with different configurations at all levels. And on top of all that, we needed to invoke precise, intelligent, targeted communications in the event any part of our global business could be disrupted. Unfortunately, IT teams are stuck in a paradox. Teams have spent millions of dollars on solutions that automate ITSM processes, workload management, operational data gathering, and application deployments. However, all this automation breaks down when a human needs to get involved in the process. So in order to properly manage the global infrastructure, we had to take the human involvement out of the process. We had to break down the silos and integrate event management and notifications together to create a seamless process. xMatters and ScienceLogic was able to do that perfectly in our environment, and again, with the same 2 people. We had to enable intelligent communications with the eventing and ticketing system, proactively communicate over 2,000 valid events to 88 teams and contact customers to provide service and increase loyalty. We had to control the messaging. We had to tailor messages to each party to elicit the required action and to manage service disruption to reduce impacts. We had to message to multiple audiences simultaneously. Realizing single incidents could require multiple notifications. We had to engage resolution teams, keep management in the loop, and notify impacted customers, including automated bridge opening. Reach out first, as that was the first response we wanted to achieve. We did not want one of our customers calling us up saying a system was down. So we had to be very proactive in this. We had to reach humans on every device and contact all our customers based on their preferences, not what we believed to be their preferences. The ability to input 5, 6, 7, 8 different phone numbers. Everybody has so many methods of communications that's been reiterated probably 1,000 times today. Email, SMS, iPhone push, Android push. I mean, there's some great technology that xMatters has that everybody needs to take advantage of. With so many forms of communication, everybody needed to have that one centralized area, and of course, xMatters provided that flawlessly. At Kellogg's, we were always looking to improve our IT operational efficiency. We had to provide our support teams the IT visibility they need, exploit AWS and our hyper-converged infrastructure for efficiency and agility, view and manage our entire infrastructure on-premises in our data centers and off-premises in AWS from a single view, all while dramatically reducing overall support and capital costs. we had to understand that the business had to agree that the right monitoring solution is a key enabler to our infrastructure strategy. It has to be agreed that the foundation for all infrastructure is how you monitor it. If you can't monitor it, you can't manage it. If you don't know you have it, how can you manage it? You need to enable a KPI-driven management approach to ITOM for current and future IT services, enable predictive operations, ensure we had a monitoring capability that supported cloud monitoring, enabling monthly trending of capacity and availability of key IT services, ensure that we had our global coverage of our monitoring to deliver service at a significantly lower cost than today with only 2 people. It was necessary to enhance our performance visibility by integrating New Relic into ScienceLogic EM7 to provide more views into our infrastructure, to allow us to look into that application layer, to provide more visibility so that we can affect application server response in greater detail. It strengthened the New Relic solution by providing dynamic applications, new dashboards, the ability to integrate with certain service policies in New Relic to actually create a better end user experience. Of course, in our Uber, Lyft connected world, a single incident is rarely isolated. A simple power outage in a plant not only requires the power to come back on, but application teams need to be ready to reboot applications, systems engineers need to be ready to reboot core production systems, and facilities need to be ready to restart operations. But there is one important step that cannot be forgotten, and it seems it always is forgotten. In order for those applications and production machines to be brought up correctly, many of them have to be shut down properly. So those teams have to be notified in an instant to coordinate their efforts. Now remember this. The power went out, most UPS devices only have 30 to 60 minutes of capacity. If your plant shuts down and you weren't well prepared, it will cost you $1 million per day in lost production. You need to correlate your efforts of your personnel as well as your systems to mitigate any loss. It was necessary for us to use IT business rules to automatically log, dedupe, correlate, update, and append incidents based on our internal and cloud-based infrastructure events, thus truly reducing the amount of event noise and decreasing the time to resolve critical service issues. That afforded us the ability to address issues like a power outage, which seems so simple, immediately with all hands on deck. We didn't want to waste $1 million a day because we couldn't coordinate our personnel correctly. Automate, automate, automate. I can't say anything more about automation. Automation allows you to create a global standard for the way in which processes are created for resolving incidents. Rather than having a decentralized process with multiple NOCs spread across the globe, automation and centralization allows for global standards and the ability to find and locate the SMEs no matter where he or she may be worldwide. The solution to the collective cross-technology challenge is to automatically detect and track the connections across technology silos, supporting any type of dependency or relationship, any technology on-premises, off-premises, virtual or physical. We can now truly rapidly innovate without concern for cloud sprawl or the loss of visibility, management, and control because all our connections are automatically discovered. Opportunity and material costs are automatically assessed. Because underlying causes of issues are automatically identified, costs are dramatically cut through reduction of mean time to resolve and the ability to find and deploy our storage and compute on least expensive resources. True risk mitigation occurs because we understand our entire technology stack and how it relates. We automatically discovered our infrastructure on-prem and off-prem, applied the right monitoring policies, as well as detected cross-technology dependencies. This process is estimated to save the Kellogg Company well over $2.5 million over the next 5 years. Of course, still with only 2 people. This automation has become even more critical as the diversity of IT environments grows. With more granular levels of insights into issues throughout the entire infrastructure worldwide, this means more issues to address. For example, at the Kellogg Company, we were taking about 50 calls a day before 2014. And these were being routed via a manual lookup on a spreadsheet. Literally had service desk people with multiple spreadsheets laying on their desk. In fact, it was kind of a funny story here. Our service center had probably about 15, 20 people in it. They all had spreadsheets on their desk, and they all had monitors, and all the monitors were turned off. I couldn't figure that one out to save my life, but I guess they liked using a lot of paper. So today we're well over 300 calls a day, and the notifications are all automated, and we don't have a service desk anymore. Now, this might seem like we were going in the wrong direction, 50 calls a day to over 300, but truly that's not the case. What this means with these efficiencies is that we were able to streamline and thus go downstream to the types of issues we can alert on. And of course, this brings us to the next issue, consolidation. Here's the irony. While you want to ensure that everyone receives proper communications, over-communicating can be equally ineffective. When you build a reputation of crying wolf with your alerts and notifications, data shows that too many alerts and notifications can result in alert fatigue. With over 300 locations, 18,000 devices in over 20 different countries, Kellogg had no choice but to consolidate events and think about what is important. Is individual CPU performance important? Not really. Is memory performance important? Not really. Is one query from a database important? Could be, depending on what the database is. But now what if you take that CPU memory query and put it into a service policy combining end user performance and measure the risk of that policy and vent off of that? We now have the ability to predict to prevent. We're actually now able to get ahead of issues and prevent things from going wrong. Because we're able to go downstream in terms of getting information to the SMEs or those responsible in a more streamlined way, we can refine our processes such that we can look at data at thresholds and look at anomalies. This allows us to predict and prevent. This truly represents a major sea change for IT professionals because so often IT is associated with problems and issues. I mean, really, if someone could blame a hurricane on IT, they would. IT is always at fault. Even this session is about reducing MTTR, mean time to resolve something. But a truly modern process should allow for an organization to eliminate any number of incidents by stopping them before they even happen. The irony here is that many organizations don't have a solid methodology for measuring prevention. The credit might go to reducing resolution time, and more rapid resolutions might look better from a metric perspective than fewer incidents with slightly higher resolution times. You need to put a measurement in place that allows for clear communication to business stakeholders in overall reduction of outages, downtime, and poor performance. Take credit for prevention. Advocate for a way in which your IT teams are acknowledged and appreciated for prevention, since overall prevention is a better option than fast resolution for anybody. For example, we can see that one of our service policies is approaching a risk level of 75% and maybe getting into a potential service disruption or approaching a point where this could lead to a crash or an outage. With these processes in place, we can now actually prevent an issue from occurring. We have the code and the processes for these metrics already provided to our engineering and operations teams to address this issue and identify exactly what metrics are associated with this application that's indicating a 75% probability of failure. But it's better to receive this warning through xMatters as a critical event than to have a customer call up saying, I can't access our Kellogg's reward sites because your site's down. And of course, advertise accountability. Shout it from the rooftops, guys. With these levels of correlation, automation, and processes in place, you no longer have to hide in the shadows of the unknown. Many companies lack the insight to even measure MTTR and or whether or not they are even meeting their SLAs, never mind the means to improve on them. IT monitoring is now a strategic part of the Kellogg IT business. Breadth of coverage across all IT, visualization of relationships, consolidation of events, the health of our services, assets, and ticketing, rapid innovation from 1,100 to 18,000 devices monitored in 12 months, the use of APIs for building out new services. We strongly believe at Kellogg in transparency and accountability. In fact, that is one of our actual K values. Every critical incident takes time and money to mitigate the circumstances. Now our team is more transparent and accountable, and that's just truly one of the reasons why we believe we are really a world-class IT organization. At Kellogg, we are able to see a drastic reduction in MTTR when employing these processes and methodologies. Our estimates are reductions from 12 to 14 hours, for instance, down to 1 to 2 hours, or maybe not at all. In fact, we really just had an incident come about that would have caused all the handheld devices salespeople use in the stores to track orders and everything. An incident occurred that basically hung all these devices, every single salesperson device throughout the country. In the past, that incident would have taken 20 people on a bridge, 1 full day to analyze the queries, to address the issue, and then another full day to start all the jobs that had to be stopped to resolve the issues. Because we had the symptoms monitored properly, one person was able to diagnose that issue and resolve it in only 1 hour, never affecting the business whatsoever. Now, you can seriously imagine that amount of money that's being saved. So we took accountability for it, and we properly advertised it everywhere within our organization. I have social media now set up. We have a SharePoint site set up in Kellogg specifically for monitoring to highlight our accomplishments. The odd thing about this is that same event has happened 13 times in the past 8 months with zero effect to the business. Overall, I mean, when you think about it though, right, it means that our CEO can provide an increased level of accountability to the business. We can actually charge back our services to the business now with the confidence that we will have a net zero cost to the business, and we can actually put SLAs in place because we have the confidence that we can commit and meet the SLAs. Of course, being global means more points of failure and increased expectations. You become more under the microscope. As Troy mentioned earlier, Kellogg is an always live 24/7 global enterprise. The sheer amount of people and contact information for who is on call is just extremely massive. We have people in the US, Europe, Japan, Singapore, Australia, Canada, Latin America, I mean truly globally, right? All that personal data can be managed easily now so that the right people are contacted quickly and escalations happen automatically. With technology and innovation, you can take your company and create an efficient and effective global standard. You can take a global standard. We utilize our platform to alert and provide a closed-loop ticket system and provide proper communication to everybody. You have a lot of service to cover, to be flexible, and to be functional. Know your topology, correlation, and relationships. Prior to November 2013, Kellogg did not truly know that. In fact, we were blind to our environment. Everything was siloed. With interdependencies across continents, you cannot have silos anymore. The way in which you address problems has to mirror the way in which they happen. Really start thinking about your organization. Is there a single pane of glass? Every day, operations teams are pushed to do more faster while cutting costs. We all know that. That's how the world works nowadays. While legacy IT infrastructure stretches to keep up with increasing demands and scalability needed for today's enterprises, cloud adoption presses ahead but brings its own challenges. The cost and complexity of legacy infrastructures are truly high, causing IT professionals to spend large amounts of time firefighting operational issues instead of innovating for future business needs. With the advent of the cloud, the promise of simplicity is truly tantalizing. However, in reality, the complexity of service architectures in the cloud is exploding. Cloud is not a replacement layer. It's another tool in your toolbox. An additional layer to manage, and I'm going to repeat that, an additional layer to manage. Now you have basically a hodgepodge of legacy systems, maybe some big iron over here, some clients over there, some Windows, and of course the cloud floating up in the air over there. How do you take that set of complexities and ensure that customers always have the information available to make the best decisions? And how do you do that while simultaneously creating opportunities to optimize efficiency across the service delivery fabric? The absolute #1 requirement is operational visibility, situational awareness at its utmost. That means information about every layer, location, and element of your infrastructure. At Kellogg, we manage the availability and efficiency. Our comprehensive instrumentation and ability to collect from almost anything at scale provides us with the intelligence to master those complex architectures, including hybrid IT. We're always looking to improve our operational efficiency. We are now finally able to give Kellogg's executives the IT visibility they need, exploit AWS for efficiency and agility, view and manage our entire infrastructure on-premise in our data centers, our hyper-converged infrastructure, and off-premises in AWS. From a single view, all while dramatically reducing all those support and capital costs with those same two people. So, integrate your environment. Break down those silos and gain 100% operational visibility of your global infrastructure. Correlate your service policies to address issues that are proactive, not reactive. Automate your processes to do more with less. Consolidate your events into something useful. Work with your teams to define solutions to existing problems and monitor for the combined symptoms. Predict to prevent a catastrophe. No matter how simple it may seem, you know that UPS device only has 30 minutes of reserve power, so plan accordingly. Don't take it for granted. Perform live drills. Don't get caught off guard. Hold yourself and your employees accountable to a set of standards that creates a sense of pride and urgency in maintaining your global environment. Of course, geographically align your teams by making everyone aware of your environment. Give them the operational visibility and maintaining operational visibility to see what is going on around the globe. In fact, at Kellogg right now, someone in China can log into our monitoring portal and view devices in the United States. We don't mind. Go ahead, do it. Someone in Russia can go ahead and look at our devices in China. Go ahead, do it. But what that does is it creates a sense of visibility for everybody to get involved now. And of course, don't be afraid to leverage the cloud. Use it as a tool. Remember, in order to be innovative, you need to accept change. In fact, you know, I always quote this, but from Einstein, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, right? So embrace change. Don't go insane. Thank you very much.